Magic the Gathering is facing a bear market, shattered dreams, and players willing to delve through the destruction to find a good deal. These are cards you should be watching. Shattered dreams and broken hearts. It's never an easy conversation, but welcome back everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. Looking forward to reading the comments at the end of this video. So when you have a situation where it's a bear market, players are getting decimated, LGSs are closing, and things are looking pretty bleak out there with everything going on with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. It has a whole doom and gloom vibe, like you're watching a B-rated horror movie. I get it. But for all those people out there who are experiencing these negative times, there are people hunting through your shattered, broken dreams, trying to find a good deal, a better deal than normal, a deal that's a deal to them. Now, this is a card watch video where we delve into reserve list cards you should be watching because a lot of their prices are coming down to levels we haven't seen since around 2020. That high of 2021, the peak that went up like a mountain, we were reporting on that back then. It was crazy to see some of those prices. And for those of us still buying reserve list cards, myself included, I still buy reserve list each and every month. Anyone who's been around the markets for a while will tell you, when the markets are this bad, it is the time to buy. When the Magic prices go down like this, it is very tempting. If you're in a solid financial position, you got savings, no outstanding bills, and passive income coming along. A reminder, guys, 3 types of income: earned income, portfolio income, and passive income. Earned income is your job. You got your portfolio income from investments when investments rise in price. Passive income comes from dividend dollars from the stocks you own. Certain like blue chip stocks like banks and stuff here in Canada, they pay a dividend. That money is always rolling in. Depending on where you are, and if you're in a financial position where you're stable, this is a great time for those types of people who can buy into this lowering of the market, solidifying positions in cards they never thought they would have the opportunity to own at these new prices, at these new lows. During Black Friday, we saw all kinds of people dive into dual lands in the tune of like $250,000 in 1 week. Now I'm starting to notice these card prices dropping further as more people try to liquidate additional cards from their collections, but this also means it's a race to the bottom for the money. Who's got the lowest price? Who's got the best deal? So when we go through the video today for reserve list cards to keep an eye on, maybe some of these appeal to you, maybe they don't. You can have your own favorite cards. That's up to you at home. I'm making you aware of it because if you're a person who can hold the line and keep these things long term, I'm not talking a month or two, I'm talking 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you're probably going to see some serious gains over the long run. I don't care if it's a junky reserve list or a good reserve list. Eventually, there's only so many left out there. There's only so many stocks available in each one of these, and that's what makes them appealing to a lot of players, as well as players just like to collect things. Myself included. How many can I get my hands on at a reasonable price? How large can my position get? It's like anything in life. You just like collecting sometimes. So let's go ahead and take a look at some amazing cards. And again, let's have some fun with it, guys, because these cards are cards you should be watching. The first card we're looking at is Replenish from Urza's Destiny with a market price of $98.77 US. You're looking at around $140 here in Canada for a near mint copy. The foil, though, being the first foils ever made, was Urza's Destiny, and those are going to cost you $834.23 US for a near mint copy. Do not expect the foil prices to fall. They are going to stay strong, so I'm not really considering them as I do the video today. Now, Replenish, 1 white, 3 other, okay? Sorcery. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play. When you look at the new cards we got, like in Kamigawa, where it's like 3 white, 3 other, it brings enchantments and artifacts back, this is strictly a better card. They tried to make it look good the other way, but the fact you only have to splash in one white mana to get this bad boy working just makes it insanely powerful, and it's less than $100 a card. That's like getting yourself, basically Shieldred nowadays. Do I want to get a reserve list card like Replenish or one Shieldred that will get reprinted? It's a great card, but they will reprint it at some point, okay? I don't know when. You guys can watch that in tomorrow's video, but this is kind of crazy to see these deals when they're this cheap for reserve list stuff. Our next card is Thawing Glaciers. from alliances, and I can't believe it's falling this low. You can find them on TCG Player for like $11 lightly played, okay? And remember, guys, if anyone here is buying off of TCG Player, please remember to use my affiliate link. It's found in the description of all of my videos. And every time you guys click that link, it'll take you to TCG Player to start your shopping experience. But I also get a kickback for the channel of around 3.5% of the sale. So it really helps the channel out for me to get some cards and work on my Arabian Nights collection. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to do that. Thanks again. Now, Thawing Glaciers comes into play tapped. It is one tap and search your library for a basic land card and put it into play tapped. This does not count towards your 1 land per turn limit. Shuffle your library. Afterwards, at the end of your turn, return Thawing Glaciers to your hand. This is a disgustingly powerful card, okay? And the fact, there's also a DCI promo of this, by the way, which again, it's around 110 bucks still Canadian. But you look at this card and the market price has fallen this far. When this card was at 60, 70, $80, this is insane. If you're looking for this for a commander deck for landfall, this is the stuff we're talking about, where deals like this, it may go lower, but this to me is at a perfect buy price. I'm good to buy it at this price, and I'll be honest, I did buy 2 copies because why not? It was so cheap, and I have other commander decks that I would like to have it in, so I went ahead and did it because it's a generic, right? It doesn't take any certain color of mana, so I love this card. Our next card is Time Spiral, and again, it continues to fall from those highs of around $300. I myself bought mine for $200 Canadian, I believe, for a near mint copy. This thing's down to $125.95 US. Now, for those unfamiliar with this card, as a reserve list card from Urza's Saga, it is 2 blue, 4 other. Remove Time Spiral from the game. Each player shuffles his or her library and graveyard back in and draws 7 new cards, but you untap 6 lands. So although it costs a lot more than Time Twister, you get your mana back, which is amazing, because if you can somehow nuke everyone else's graveyards before you do it, you get all the advantages. That's a crazy good card to have around. I love this card. Love it. Glad I bought one. And if it goes below 100, I will be picking up more. All right, Tithe, another epic card from Visions that has fallen to such good lows, it's hard to ignore at this price. It has 1 white, instant speed. Search your library for a Plains card. If you control fewer lands than target opponent, you may search your library for an additional Plains card. Reveal those cards to all players and then put them in your hand. Shuffle your library afterwards. Oh my goodness, okay? This is kind of crazy because if you're using it in a commander game, you can choose the target opponent, right? You can say, oh, that guy has, more lands than me, less, whatever you want to do with it. You now can choose and target. This card being $25.99 US, and by the way, TCG Player thinks $17 for lightly played is insanely good price, okay? This card's been as high as $80. Love to see it this low. Fantastic bargain for players who've never had the opportunity to buy cards like this or felt it was just too expensive to buy it. Wheel of Fortune is bottoming out. Some players have reported, and a few of you guys sent me the pictures of stuff like, $300 Canadian near mint, $270 Canadian near mint. Guys, great deals, because this thing is actually still falling in price, and I expect it to go sub $300. That's my opinion on the matter. Now, this is a revised copy, 1 red, 2 other. Again, the older spells in Magic, you notice they don't take 2 red or 2 blue or 2 white, other than things like Brain Geyser. They take 1, which means in multicolored decks, these things are invaluable to have as staple pieces for your commander decks. All players must discard their hands and draw 7 cards. Wow. Love this stuff. I used to use this for like a library length, so I could choose which cards I wanted to discard and which ones I wanted to keep. Great stuff. Great stuff to have around. And such a great bargain for players to buy. Now, the next one is a very cheap card. I'm bringing this up for a different reason. I just want to share with you guys. Oath of the Ghouls from Exodus, okay? Now, it's like a $5 card, okay? Super cheap. But look at what this enchantment does. And compare it to new cards coming out. 1 black, 1 other. During each opponent's upkeep, if there are more creature cards in that player's graveyard than in target opponent's graveyard, that player may return a creature card from his or her graveyard to their hand. So again, in a commander game where you're selecting the opponent, you can really kind of jerry-rig this in your favor to say, I'm always going to get a creature out, and it's going to be the creature I want to get. Being able to destroy people's graveyards will be key, and being able to make sure you can sort things out in the manner you need to effectively use a card like this is still amazing. But guys, it's only $5. This thing reached up to $30 US. It's lost like 80% of its value. Go for a lightly played copy. I think it's $2.75 US on TCG Player. Crazy prices for some of these cards. And you may not need it now, but buying it this cheap and storing it for a couple of years isn't going to hurt you. Again, assuming you're in a sound financial position and can afford to buy these cards. Never hurt friends or family. Never put things on credit card that you can't clear at the end of the month. And always have that rainy day fund. All right, Plateau. This dual land is by far the cheapest right now. You can find heavily played copies for around the $200 mark. This is kind of like crazy times, all right? Here we have the market price of $329.34 US. I can find moderately played copies for $300 Canadian, but with the discounts some of the stores give you, you'd be looking at about 5 to 10% off that, so $270 plus tax. An insane deal to get your first dual land, to be able to buy this and hold on to it. Compared to what's going on in the modern cards nowadays and the prices we're seeing for cards like Great Henge, Shadow Spear, 20, 30, 40 bucks here and there, being able to own an epic piece that you will never need to sell because it's reserve list, it's going to keep going up, it's going to have value long term, and you can use it in Commander, is just, it's run amok for how the prices are. Wizards has messed this up so bad, and with markets like this falling, the reserve list market has not caught up to the new prices of how things are being done, and it probably won't for a while, giving players who do buy reserve list a distinct advantage over other players for probably the next foreseeable future. Now our next card, Gate to Phyrexia. Now with Phyrexia, all will be one. That's one kind of thing. This card's $78.09, a favorite of the Taco King. But look what it says here. Sacrifice one of your creatures. In this case, you can sacrifice token creatures you can make all the time during your upkeep to destroy any one artifact. Think about all the crazy stuff we've seen in Brothers War. Think of all the cards that have come out in the last 12 months. Everything from Kamigawa onward. All these crazy artifacts. Being able to destroy those artifacts and get them off the board and use token creatures to do it is just perfect. Okay? Perfect for a player. And the fact that it only costs 2 black mana to do it, and with all kinds of ways of generating tokens in black, this is going to be a great card to remember for certain commander decks, okay? I mean, I love the card. I like the artwork. I like the idea and the kind of, you know, the lore and history behind it, but it actually has a fundamental use. It can be a good card. If anything, it's great to own one in case you ever decide to build a deck that's going to be able to handle artifacts quite easily. Now, our next card, Goblin Wizard. This guy was like 250 bucks. It is now sub 100 at $93.14 US and still falling. Moderately played copies are $70 US on TCG Player. 70 bucks for the best card in the dark that we know has had a price history that held for about half to 3/4 of a year. It held at that price. It sold, was bought, and traded at that price, which means the market didn't reject those prices when it happened. So when the market, if it ever does turn around, this card will have a similar demand because it held that price before. It isn't like it was there for a day. It was there for 6 to 9 months, and it was bought and traded and sold at that price level. Something very interesting, and we still have amazing new goblins coming up all the time. I know in Phyrexia, all will be one. There's that new Iron Goblin guy, legendary dude. That's kind of crazy that he's only 3 to cast, and he's an artificer and gives you all kinds of mana supply. There's some great combinations that will be coming that will tweak out Goblin decks to make them that much better. You're always upgrading. Cards like this, though, never need to be upgraded. He just lets you put a Goblin into play. Here we have Gravity Sphere from Legends. With a market price of $83.24 US, this card has held as high as just below 200, so it's about 50% off. You can find moderately played copies for $69 to $79, lightly played to moderately played in English. If you want to go just to get a cheap one, you can go the Italian Legends version and only spend about $48 to get that card. Now, when you're taking a look at what Gravity Sphere does, if you guys are unfamiliar, again, 1 red and 2 other Enchant World, which means it affects everything. That's the old way of saying it. All creatures lose flying. Imagine never having to deal with flying creatures again. You add other cards in like Island Sanctuary saying creatures without flying can't attack you, and you've got a combo right there where you can never be attacked again. There are crazy things you can do with old cards like this, and prices like this where they are half the price they used to be. just makes it a buying paradise right now. And these things are still falling. All these cards on the list today are still trending downward and will probably continue to do so until they find the new bottom. And don't think there aren't players looking, because there are. For everyone who tried to hold these cards and couldn't hold on and lost everything, there are other players who waited patiently like sharks, wasting no energy until it was time to strike. This may not be their time yet. They may think this is going lower than this. I'm waiting for certain price points to go a little bit lower myself. You know, good old Soldevi Excavations. What can I say? If it falls too low, I'll probably have to do something about that. That's all I'm going to say. So thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here on the channel with the Moxman today. Let me know what you guys think about some of these cards. Looking forward to reading those comments. Have an awesome day today. Nachos and cheese, here we come. You're here. You've arrived. This is that section of the page where I get to thank each and every fantastic patron on this channel who shows their support. Thanks again, guys. So many good deals. So little time. If I wasn't trying to work on some Arabian Nights cards, there are so many I'd want to buy right now. I wonder how tax time is going to be for people. Are they going to go really crazy on some of these cards when they're this cheap? Because I'm tempted. Depending on how much I get back, I'm very tempted. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being those special people who make it to the end. And you know what we're going to put in the comment section today? The Bazaar of Baghdad. Because I'm trying to save for that puppy. I'm going to see if I can get it done this year in 2023. Bazaar of Baghdad, the most expensive card. I'm going to try to get out of the way. I don't care if it's heavily played. I just want to get one.